Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I am Charla Imber. I am the creator of Frequency Healing Community. Hopefully you all can hear me just fine. Just give us a little comment on the Facebook post here and let us know that you're able to see everything and hear everything just fine. So today I'm excited. Thank you. We're going to be interviewing Haley Mueller, who is a frequency health codes practitioner who has used this modality on herself to heal mold toxicity, parasites, Lyme, several other things to increase her energy. So I'm really excited to learn about this because this is actually something that I had never heard of before. It's actually really unique and interesting. So I'm curious to know the background of the frequency health codes and how you came about to learn about them. Haley, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Do you want me to just dive right into my journey?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so I had extensive trauma growing up and just got so sick, probably by the time I was in my mid 20s to 30s. And I kept being triggered all the time. And I would get an immune response every time that I had a trigger and I didn't even remember like the memories and everything. And I'm still uncovering some of that stuff. So it's crazy the
Yeah.
layers that we deal with in our lives. But anyway, Lyme was my biggest one. I was sick with it for 12 years and I was just helping fix up my in-laws' house and we found mold behind the backsplash of the kitchen as we were pulling it out, and that mold activated the Lyme. And so I not only had this, like mycotoxin infection going on, but I had these other things piled on top of it I didn't even know about. And so anyway, I joined a support group because, Lyme, everyone tells you it's incurable. Like, okay, you got to go through the steps of, okay, you got to get a doctor, you've got to get, naturopath on your team, you've got to get, nervous system acupuncturist or chiropractor. And so I had all these people on my team and I just wasn't getting any results. I wasn't getting any help. I felt like I was just doing the same thing over again. The doctors kept giving me antibiotics and they're like, okay, well, we don't really know what causes this, but we just keep getting antibiotics until we pass you to someone else that might be able to help you,
Yeah.
like a chronic infection specialist or someone. And even then, I couldn't get answers from the referrals. And so, anyway, I had a friend in that Lyme support class that I was in, and she was, that's how we were friends. We were just kind of talking and we connected a lot and found out that she just started as we were meeting in these weekly groups to talk about what our struggles were and how we were dealing with them. I started to notice she was starting to get better. She had more energy. Her zest for life came back. And I was like, okay, what pill are you taking or
Yeah.
what woo-woo thing? Like, tell me, what are you doing? And she's like, well, and she didn't tell me how she met this guy, but she's like, this clinician or guy that made his own program in Rhode Island sends me codes every week and I read them and I get better. And I was like, you just read them? That's it? She's
That's
like,
what I said. I was like, what? We're just reading. What is this?
like, our bodies can do that, just heal by reading something. And she was like, yes. She's like, it's crazy. Anyway, so I was like, okay, give me the number. I don't even care. I was skeptical. And he put me in like one of the like 30 different Lyme classes that he does. And he like apparently Lyme is huge. It's like over 60 to 70% of illness right now.
Wow.
It's got its hands in everything.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so he put me in one of the Lyme classes, and I remember the first time I was read codes, all of a sudden these aches and pains that I was dealing with got worse. And I was like, what? They're worse, but they feel productive. Like I felt like I was finally purging something. Something was finally leaving my body. And so I felt like ill, like worse than I was for like a couple days. But then the moment I hit like day 2 or 3 after those codes, I got hope. And I was finally able to see, okay, if I can heal from my Lyme. So 8 to 9 months later, I had finished my Lyme codes and then I worked on the mold codes. And it wasn't just mold. And he muscle tested me every single week, month to make sure I was doing the right ones my body asked for. That's how he taps into the body. He acts as proxy for you. And that's what a practitioner does is they ask your body, they ask you consent. And then what they do is they ask all these questions. There's a certain process we go through to make sure that we're giving you the right codes. We know exactly what the top layer of your health usually is. And so, and we do have layers. So top of them is usually like a pathogen. Usually under that is a parasite of some sort. And then down further below, it's trapped emotions. It depends on the top issue that they're dealing with. And so that's where I started. I dealt with a Lyme and I did mold codes. And as I was dealing with the mold, I was addressing the trauma that activated the mold or even where it started brewing. So the whole philosophy of this program is that every health issue starts with a trauma or a series of trauma events. And so when you
Wow.
address it from that angle, it really helps the body. So you're not just validating your story when you read the codes, but you're healing multi factors of the illness. So when someone says, okay, I have Lyme, I know that at certain points of their childhood, they were abandoned because I worked with enough
Mm,
people that their body's going to pick abandonment codes down the line because for some reason, certain
mm,
illnesses, when we get certain reactions from our parents as a child, how we interpret and absorb them determines our health later in life. It's
yeah.
crazy. Even like fibromyalgia, lupus, all these other illnesses, I almost know kind of a trend of what codes their body's going to pick. And so,
Wow. That
yeah.
is so fascinating. That's always been very fascinating to me too. I've done a lot of going to a practitioner here where I live, where they do what's called neuro-emotional technique, and it's kind of the same thing where there's pathways that are connected to different organs. And just as you dive into that, it's just so fascinating, and it really makes a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of the work of Louise Hay as well, and just her connecting the dots. So tell me a little bit more about the health codes, because I remember when you first told me about it, it was hard for me to really conceptualize exactly what this would look like. And also tell me that guy's name again. Was he the
Well,
creator of this?
yeah, Gary
The founder?
Blyer, he's the founder. Yeah. He's the founder of what is called advanced cell training.
Gary Blyer. Okay, so if I am a new client, what is that going to look like? And what am I going to be doing? And what are you going to be doing?
So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to send you a couple videos to kind of explain the basis so you kind of understand, okay, what is my body doing? What is this woo-woo stuff? What are the codes? How do they help me? And so what happens is I try to explain to people this is very simple. So how we relate, our body's main communication is frequency. How
Mhm.
you when you hold a rock, right? Your frequency is reacting or responding to the rock's frequency. It doesn't have to be special, like a crystal or a gem. It could be anything.
Mhm.
Same with water. Same with when you put your hand on, your wood floors, things like that. Any element. That's how we relate. Well, so advanced cell training, that's the main modality I do. It's the raw response to your body. So your brain has two cells in the back stored. And these two cells, it's pretty much the whole basis of where you were created from, how you started to grow. And those two cells have all of your DNA information, your chemical makeup, everything that you need for your brain to know how the body is supposed to, how to respond, how to behave. And so the brain is the chief. It knows everything about all your cells, how each group of cells is supposed to be. So, and I can kind of explain, okay, well, why is the brain not doing its job? Our
Yeah.
health is so much more complicated than it used to be. But so our brain has an information. So the codes, this is where the codes come in. You read certain codes for a certain ailment or illness or cellular misbehavior is what I call it. You read, so say certain ones for Lyme, you're going to read ones for Lyme, certain ones for maybe brain codes. There's certain ones, and when you read them, and I teach you how to read them in the first call. So I tell you how to do your trainings and I go through your health. So you submit a health form to me before the call and I kind of highlight things, any themes, any reoccurring information that I maybe learned prior that I know might be important to look at. And I look at anything that might be worth noting. And that's why I always ask, is there anything else I need to know about you? Because the more information I know, the more accurate the muscle test is. And so, anyway, a lot of people don't believe that our thoughts can influence the muscle test. They can. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm making sure that
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly checking, constantly making sure that there's no bias, no thoughts influencing, no projecting. I make sure that there's no barriers. And if I sense something's off, I make sure I do the necessary things to make sure I'm back in balance. My polarity isn't off and
Yeah.
things like that. But
So
yeah, sorry.
let me
Go on.
just interject really quick. So would the codes be something like what I am reading it and hearing it as? It's like something that is tapping into the subconscious.
So a
So is
part of
that
it
how
is,
it works?
so it's not just a subconscious, it's actual cells in your body that you're reading. So it's kind of a mix of modalities. What you're reading is a mix of numbers and letters,
Mm.
some of them, and some of them you might understand what they are, some of them you might not. And that's okay. You don't need to know what they're saying. You just need to see it. Your eyes act like a barcode scanner for your brain. And your brain, all it
Mm.
needs to do is see them or hear them or both. And it activates its own brain frequency, its own, so it can match every cell in your body. Every cell has its own frequency. So
Yeah.
every ailment or clump of cells, the brain can match. It says, I know where in the body that cell is that's not acting accordingly to how it's supposed to. And it compares to that DNA information. Then it goes down and it corrects the cell. So
Wow. So how did he develop these codes? How did he figure out what was for what?
yeah, so he has a couple of videos on his website where he kind of alludes to how he developed them. I'm guessing through the muscle tests and
Mm.
other knowledge that he has gained. He said that he got a lot of his information from an energy worker or a doctor in Mexico. When he had his first kind of breakthrough with his health, he had ankylosing spondylitis. So he was 30 years old and walking around with a cane, and
Wow.
he was saying, "This isn't my life. This is not how my life is going to be." And he was very much a believer of Western medicine until that point. And they were like, "Well, all we can do for you is surgery." And he was like, "No, I'm not going to do that." He went to Mexico, and this doctor said, "Let me see if I can help you." And I think he gave him, if I recall in his story, he said he got him like stem cell injections, but then he helped get his body back in alignment. And then he showed him a bunch of and other techniques. And he kind of created his own from what he learned. So anyways, there's a video on his website called, Where Do the Codes Come From? And he talks a bit about the muscle test, but also how the muscle test can tap into this biological internet of information that a lot of us don't really know about. And when you know the right questions to ask, then
Mm-hmm.
it's unlimited the information you can receive. And so he kind of talked about that a little bit. He doesn't actually describe exactly his process, but I'm guessing that it's somehow where he gets downloads of info. I think he does have gifts of clairvoyance or sentience, so he can gather information, and then I think through the
Mm-hmm.
muscle test and a couple of other things.
So
Yes.
he's partially tuning into the energy field to
Yes.
receive information
Yeah.
to be able to then know what's going to unlock these cells, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Wow, I just love this. I think it is so fascinating, just from what we know of vibration with everything, that everything is a vibration, that letters are a vibration, words that full words, everything, emotions, the table that we sit at, everything is a vibration.
Yeah.
So for anybody listening that's skeptical or wondering, well, how is reading a code going to help me? That's how you can perceive it, is that our words are so much more powerful than we could have ever imagined. And I'm sure everyone has seen this meme so already, but it's, that's why it's called spelling, because it truly is like a spell that we put out into the world. And we can't help but be operating in that at all times. So
You become
depending,
a magnet for what you speak. And that's why, yeah,
exactly. And so it's so amazing that he has developed this. So is it called frequency health codes, or is there a different
that's the
name
name of my
of
practice.
your practice?
But
Okay.
the modality is advanced cell training. And I kind of bundle a couple together
Okay.
depending on what the muscle test says. I am also a worker for Innerwise. I also have I was also trained by a clinically trained shaman back three years ago, and she told me about how the nervous system works. So a lot of EFT, pairing EFT with cellular alignment with all these other techniques to help regulate yourself. And I feel like that's a very great addition in understanding. So when you're doing codes, oftentimes, so when you're reading these, you might feel the shifts as you're reading them. They'll look like Excel spreadsheets as you read. And I teach everyone that's new how to read them appropriately. But as you read them, you might start to get a headache. You might start to feel aches and pains in your body. A gal just a few weeks ago started to throw up. And I was
Wow.
like, oh my gosh, girl, like, slow down on those codes, because she was reading so many so fast. I was like, slow down. Slow down your body. She's like, whoa, I did not know these codes could make me throw up.
Wow.
So it's crazy.
Which again, just to clarify for people, I mean, a lot of times when we are bringing in healthy information that is going to be healing to our bodies, if your body has been stagnant and in a place of stagnancy with a certain energy, typically one that's making us sick, if you can think of it as like a hardened ground that has to be broken up. So sometimes everything gets a little dirty and dusty, and it kind of all that
You
stuff gets
start
up into the
to
air.
rot. And when
Yeah.
you're purging, so health is, healing isn't a straight line, right? It's not linear. And so a lot of people say, well, why am I not getting, so we kind of live in a pill popper culture where everyone wants to get better fast. They want their symptoms to go away right now. And I say, okay, so they say, well, how long is this going to take? How many codes do I have to do? And I say, well, you need to understand, how long were you sick? For me, it was 12 years. Okay. It's 12 years of this just bad infection. I was bedridden by the end of it. And I was just
Wow.
grateful that I felt results within 3 days, but it did take me 9 to 12 months of codes. And I'm just glad it only took that. Does that make sense? Where it's
Yeah.
a lot of people like, well, I want to get better now. I take a pill and I want it to go away. And I say, that's not how it works. You have layers. I teach everyone that we're like an onion. We have layer 1 to our health, layer 2, layer 3. And a lot of people want to jump to layer 5 or layer 8, whatever it is. And when there's these
Yeah.
other layers you haven't addressed, it's going to clog up your system. You're not ready to get to it. And it might even re-trigger you or have other issues. Just depends on the person. And so I tell people that's why having someone trained in muscle testing that knows those right questions to ask for your body is very invaluable, because you want to make sure that they know, okay, what's the top layer to their health? Okay, you want to make sure they know, am I getting the right codes? Am I addressing everything? Because right now for me,
Not just jumping straight down to the intense stuff, because that's going to be really painful if you try to knock that out first.
and a lot of people, there's a lot of buzzwords. A lot of people love the word detox and parasites. And they say, Kate, how do I detox right now? And I'm like, okay, parasites and pathogen, they love to plant in your detox pathways because they know they're not stupid. They plant where they know it's going to be hardest to get rid of them. So I say you need to deal with layer 1. You got to get rid of them first so that your detox pathways and your lymphatic system is even open. So I tell people you got to understand there's layers to this.
Yeah. Those
And
little sneaky parasites.
exactly. And we live in a
Out of there.
world.
Oh man, I know.
Right?
And it's like, whew, it can be so overwhelming,
It is.
the parasite pathway, and trying to figure out where to go and how, and the more you learn about it, almost it's the more discouraging it is, because you find out stuff like that is like, well, you just want to throw your hands up in the air, like
I give up.
it's just too much. It's just too much.
Yeah.
You got to stick with this. So with the health codes, do you recommend that people are on a certain diet during that time, or does it matter? Or is it how much of the percentage of them actually doing other work and self-help work is beneficial?
Yeah. So I actually have found, and this is just my own personal experience, but also the philosophy of the program itself, is that people that diet or restrict themselves, that aren't eating intuitively to their bodies, they need to kind of reframe. Okay, you have a diet, like certain people that have come to me, we're on the carnivore diet, and they say, okay, should I keep doing the diet? And I was like, well, sometimes the body says yes, just until you're ready to continue to the next phase. So once you've uncovered layer 1 or layer 2, then maybe it's safe to get back to a normal diet,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the person. So some people do have kind of a different amount of allergies. Some are, it's eggs, some of them it's meat, some of them it's like a seasonal allergy or anything. Like a lot of people I've worked with have temp allergies as well. And so we work through, okay, is the allergy the top thing we need to address right now? Okay, no. So the whole goal is to keep the body in, not fight or flight mode. Because if it's in a raw, chaotic state, it can't heal or even focus on healing. So this is why people say, well, you're not a holistic practitioner. I say, okay, I'm more integrative. I make sure that all the options are considered when it comes to health. So like one gal I was working with had a really bad chronic UTI, and the doctor said, hey, I have some gabapentin. And her body wasn't responding to the codes at first because of that chaotic state she was in. So she got on the gabapentin and it really calmed things down. And then she was able to focus. And so I just tell people, as long as you know that you'll need to kind of repair the damage or detox from what that drug or that thing you're taking is, just know that you're informed and your body says yes for now, but not long.
So you're pretty much walking people through whenever you take on a client. We're going to be showing her actual service here in a second, but I did see that it's like a 3-month long process. Is that what you start with everyone? You do a consultation and then you do a 3-month long process where you are working with them and muscle testing them and giving them the codes. And are you then also checking in with them to see how things are going and kind of just go? And let's just go ahead and go over here. So for people that don't know yet, this is our marketplace. If you've not checked it out, you can find it at frequencyfamilymarket.com. And lots of good stuff over here. But we're gonna focus in it all. There's also a community that you can go check out, a sister community to this one that is a little more intimate. We also have resources and lots of things over there that are not here in the Facebook group. But I'm going to find Haley's services, we would just go here and click services. And she's actually right on the front page right now, but I do think you're under personalized frequencies. There you are. Yeah. So it's 185. It says per hour here, but that's actually not accurate. Is that correct?
Per month. So
per month,
per month. And I do have a upfront, you can pay all at once. If you want to pay all 3 months, you do save a little bit. But the main goal is that you'll get kind of one full consultation in the first month. And after your first training, so within the first 48 hours, you check in with me, see if any shifts are happening, things like that. And then the month 2 and month 3, we just do a brief follow-up and I give you a fresh new month of codes, a new schedule, things like that. So each month you'll be reading your codes on a specific schedule that your body asks for or asks to do. And so you're uncovering layer 1, typically in month 1, layer 2, month 2, layer 3. And so as you work through those, you'll start to feel these layers just shed off of you. I've seen people completely transform. Their lives change, personalities, become a completely different person, from like bedridden to traveling the world. Crazy, crazy changes. And I've been so honored to see all these people get better from these. I mean, what we have been told are incurable or chronic illnesses that we're just stuck with, right? We're told that there's no way out. We're going to be stuck that way and we're going to be bedridden our whole lives, or just have this toxicity around us that we're not going to be able to get rid of. And I'm very much a person that doesn't accept no for an answer. And that's kind of what propelled me into where I am now. And so I tell people, you don't have to accept whatever the cards you've been dealt. You can say, yeah, I was given these cards. That doesn't mean that I have to sit here and keep these cards. I decide what I'm going to do with them. And so it's been really cool to see people just, take that knowledge and run with it.
Yeah. We've traded places. Do you see that? I don't know what you see, but we've traded. The video screens changed places. That's so funny.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
We're just thinking I'm talking and whoa, where'd she go?
Yes, I love that you're saying that, that we don't have to believe I was interviewing someone on Tuesday, a woman, Cynthia, who is using the EE system right now. I should actually send her to you too. It sounds like what you're doing could really help her. She has a neurological condition, and her motto is believe the diagnosis and not the prognosis. So just not owning it. I mean, we don't have to own what we are told as far as what is going on in us physically or mentally, because our natural state of being is health. That is all what we are all headed towards. And I do believe too, sometimes we are experiencing something like that, that we're needing to walk through so that we can learn what we need to learn about even developing these skills in us. A lot of times the illness serves that purpose in our lives, but we have to learn to start to align with that health, align with the truth, align with the unconditional love that is the highest frequency that we can tune into.
And a lot of illness I found is just blockages, a lot of blocked
Yeah.
energy from what we may have put there,
Hmm.
or someone else in our life, or an event may have put there. And a big question I often ask in the onboarding process, because this program won't just heal you. Like, it doesn't just get rid of parasites, pathogen, emotions. It actually forces you to, if you had an environment of relationships, a place, or any sort of circumstance that was keeping you sick, you can no longer stay in that circumstance if you want to get better. And so a lot of people I've worked with either had a partner that was toxic, or they had just surrounding a bunch of people that were not healthy for them, or they weren't helpful, or they thought that they could speak for them when it came to their health. And so a lot of people that just kind of allowed, they had these lack of boundaries, these, they
Yeah.
weren't really seeing that they could step into their own power and finally see, wow, no, I am in charge of my life, this reality I'm creating. And it's really important. I ask a lot of people, are you willing to acknowledge your responsibility in how this happened to you? And there's a lot of resistance I get. A lot of people like, wait, what? No, I
Yeah.
didn't do this to myself. The moment you
Yeah.
take responsibility and you realize your contributions to it,
Yeah.
you'll heal so much
Oh,
faster.
totally. Yeah, to know we are sovereign beings. Like we come in here with power. I mean, that's like when you look into a baby's eyes,
Yes,
you
that's a perfect
see
example.
the power in there. You see the alignment. You see the complete trust and love there. And I know that's what we come from. And so I know that if we can tune into that, even tune into our child self in that innocence and that love, that
Yes.
and know that we are choosing this experience in order to expand and grow and shift. And that to me is very freeing. We are not victims to anything. And I know there's a ton of suffering, but it's also what I have learned. We cannot judge someone else's suffering.
We
Um, a
can't.
lot of times we try to, we judge it based on what we feel would be absolutely horrible.
Yes.
But we are not in that other person's shoes and we don't know their pathway. We don't know what they're walking through.
We don't know
Um,
what paradigm or what
what is shifting in them, what needs
cycle
to
they're
shift,
in.
what
Yeah,
what their path is. And I totally believe that each of us are given the grace we need to walk through what we need to walk through. I think it's whenever we get into a victim mentality and we get, woe is me, that it feels overwhelming and unbearable. But knowing we have everything we need to walk through this, um,
absolutely.
everything we need to heal and to come back into alignment into our truest, highest, and most powerful self.
And as we do that, we hold space, right, for the people
Yeah.
that are struggling. I do tell people though, these codes, they'll put you in situations you didn't realize were an issue prior.
Wow. So
And
it,
tell people, are you ready? Because the codes, I that's why I tell people 3 months starting out to make sure you see results. But I realize, I have to tell people this is circumstantial to a degree. And so you need to, I want to make sure, I want to see people get better. A lot of people are like, oh, a lot of people had made accusations in different forms. And I just say, you know what? The main thing I want to see is see people heal. I want to see people turn their life around. And that's the reward I get.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate reward. And so I want to make sure I get to see that in this person. I don't want to put someone in a circumstance or something they're not ready for. And so I'm constantly making sure, is this a positive or a negative person? Is this someone that has, do they have blockages? Okay, yes. But are those blockages, are they willing to be loosened? Are they willing to remove them? Because a lot of this is
Yeah.
unlearning, right? Becoming more our true selves. It's unlearning all the things that were placed upon us, placed inside us, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Exactly. Like that's the only criteria. I've always said that even in choosing a partner, like the only criteria you need is this person willing to grow.
Exactly. That's
Like
that's the ultimate
that's
thing.
it. That's it. If we're
Yeah, it doesn't matter compatibility, just are they willing to
are they
grow?
willing to shift and grow?
Yes.
Because that's the most powerful one of the, I see that all as love. Being in the flow of the spirit. That is love. It's entering the love river and letting it take
River,
you
I love
wherever,
her.
letting it take you where it's going to take you. And we got to, it's a big part of that is trusting the process, trusting that we have everything that we need. I mean, and then along the way, we get these incredible modalities that we can utilize. But I always say too, all these modalities are awesome. But
They
if
are.
we are set to stay the same and not change, then it will not work the way that we want it to work. So we have to open that door open
Right.
to say, hey, I'm willing for this to shift me and help me transform and help me to grow.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to just stay in one place, even if you are, say, certified in a certain program or you have
Yeah.
a lot of experience here. I want to know, did you grow past that? Did you expand? What else have you learned past what you were learning in this specific area? And man, like people say, okay, do you know as much as the founder? I can't say what I know if the founder knows whatever, but I definitely know where this has taken me. And it's
Yeah.
crazy the things that I've experienced and learned ever since. It's opening up my whole purpose here in this realm or earth, wherever we are. Just
Yeah.
learn about, wow, this like realize I've learned more about who I am as a person because these experiences start happening. I'm like, okay, and I'm now starting to get these like people that have channel angels and other spirit guides, other experiences. They come up to me and they're like, you're not just a code bearer, what are you? And I'm like, I'm still learning myself.
Yeah.
So it's like there is some sort of higher purpose of
Yeah.
why I'm doing this, and I
Yeah.
think it's to raise the collective and help everyone else who has been struggling. Maybe I'm kind of the basis of all of the energy healers, the people who need to, help. And I'm kind of one of the foundational workers that keeps
Mm.
making sure everyone that their health is not standing in the way of their true purpose.
Yes.
Like that.
And doesn't that make life fun where we
Yes.
are always discovering who we are, and instead of living in this life from this fear-based place of I need to fit into this box, or my life should look like this, or I should have accomplished this already, or I should have done this, instead just letting go, like who am I at this moment? Like,
And accepting I am where I need to be
yeah.
right at this moment, and ask, if it's God, your higher self, the
Yeah.
universe, higher power, guide me on the place that I need to be. And I welcome all opportunities that
Yes.
will guide me in that direction. So I tell people like, you're not stuck like you think you are. You're only stuck if you think you are, but start opening up your mind and think, hey, where are the possibilities? Where can I take my life? And
Yeah.
it's let it come in, let the floodgates open.
It's powerful. I love it. Okay, tell me, Gary Blyer, do I spell his last name Blyer?
Blier.
Oh, okay. Blier. I'm just going to put that in the comments here. Someone was asking.
Yeah,
And yep,
advancedcelltraining.com is
advanced
the
cell.
founder's website, so they can go over there.
Okay,
He's got
cool.
some videos about himself as well that
All
he
right, let me put that in here. advancedcelltraining.com. I think I spelled that right. Okay, cool. Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to just show one more time how to find you. So let me just go here. So whenever you come to the link that I shared in the comments, it'll bring you here. I just want to remind everyone, this is not 185 per hour. We use a platform that they do not have a per month or per anything. So the only choice we have is like per day or per hour. So I'm working with them on it to get that changed.
Yeah.
But for now, so maybe we can clarify that a little more here in the description, just so people won't be confused. But this is where you find Haley and her amazing frequency health codes. She has walked through it herself, which is some of the greatest way to know if it's something that really works. And go check out Gary Blyer, and you can read more about that. I also want to show you where you can, or she does have a video here that you can watch.
I have an intro video, and I have a website link. There's more videos on the link in the description.
Right here,
so
more videos here. Okay. And then you can also contact her personally. If you scroll down the page, you can contact her here and have a little conversation with her about what she does if you have more questions or anything like that. Let's just go. So when you come to Frequency Family Market, it will bring you here. And you can also browse through the rest of our products. We do have a lot more going on over here than only services. We have frequency devices and healing services, healing services, as well as EMF protection, frequency tools, some gorgeous orgonite that I am actually wearing right now. I don't know. I'll have to show you here in a second.
Beautiful.
You can also access our sister community here. And also, if you're a practitioner and you want to list your products and services over here, join our community, or just go to frequencyfamilymarket.com, sign up over here, and you will be able to be walked through the process of being able to do that. So, and you can always reach out to me as well to find out more information about the Frequency Family Market. So the vision for that is to just have one place that people can come to find amazing products. We have people looking for things all the time. What do we use? You can contact the practitioner right there. If you want to go even deeper with more information about frequency and be in a more intimate community, you can go to community.frequencyfamilymarket.com. I'm hoping that it's working again. Ben, do you know?
It is not.
Okay.
A ticket's been submitted, a high priority ticket. So
we just, right before this interview, found out that our community website was not loading up. So we're talking to our host providers right now to see what's going on with that. But you can go to frequencyfamilymarket.com, and that will take you to the page with the products and services and all of that. And you can fill out an application there if you're a practitioner, if you want to list products there. And if you are a frequency seeker, just browse through. You can contact us and here on Facebook or over there to find out more information. So, Haley, do you have any last words or anything that you would like to share more about?
Nothing that I can think of. I shared pretty much all, but
Do you have any advice for anyone who's looking for health? Like what you would tell them right now?
Yeah. So if you're trying to filter through all this confusing information and there's so much stuff here left and right, and you're kind of overwhelmed and just not sure where to go, focus on, so calm the waters. So ground yourself, breath work, all those things will help you kind of know. So you need to go inward and be intuitive about, okay, your cells and your body will feel called or respond to whatever you feel is best for you at that time. So just kind of not really a job application process, but start you kind of interviewing different people that you feel drawn to, and see how you feel as you talk to them, how you feel as you're reviewing the information that they have to offer. And you'll know if it's for you, if you feel good, if your body feels like it's, being pulled towards that thing. It's very powerful when you start going more intuitive as to how you feel and the information you're learning about. That's probably the big way that you'll know, okay, what direction should I take with my health? What should I be doing? What will help me? And so I just tell people, get a lot of people on your team. make sure that you have, someone that will help you adjust your bones, your back, your nervous system, but also make sure maybe a traditional therapist to help reframe all those cognitive tools you're going to need to reframe the trauma that happened to you. But then make sure you have someone that's, frequency is the best modality I know for this, but to release those trapped emotions, those blockages that are trapped all over your body. I found a lot of people that have a lot of health issues. That's really the basis of what it is once you've addressed all of the bugs, all of the issues, it's just stagnant energy that's stuck in there. So have someone there to help release that. You'll feel so much lighter. And then just start working on yourself, right? Forgive, work on all the relationships around you and say, okay, what is no longer serving me in my life? Okay, do I need to reframe it or do I need to remove it? And just really look at everything around you. And that's when those big shifts will start to happen. So
wonderful. Great advice. Yeah. I think a lot of us have been trained to not listen to that inner voice.
Exactly.
We think that it's frivolous, or it depends on what direction you're coming at it. If it's a religious thing, then we don't trust it because we're supposed to listen to something outside of ourselves. When
lots of programming,
a lot of programming,
and if we had trauma, a lot of us had trauma backgrounds. We've kind of not really figured out, because of our experiences, how to trust ourselves again, because we're afraid. We're afraid we're going to get it wrong, or we're going to find ourselves in a worse state than before. So there's a lot of fear driving those decisions. But yes.
When that is the spirit of God within us.
Yes.
Trusting that's where it's coming from. So getting in alignment with that. And what has always helped me is listening to if I analyze a thought and I can detect that it is rooted in fear, or if I analyze an action that I'm wondering if I should take and it's rooted in fear, then I know this is not in alignment with the spirit, and it's not the path, because perfect love casts out all fear. That's one of my favorite scriptures to quote. And it's what actually helped me come out of traditional religious world, because I started realizing, wow, a lot of this doesn't feel like love to me. So I'm going to get in tune with what love is. And I had to retrain myself. What is love? What, and so going back to those fundamentals, love is kind, joy, love, peace, patience, all of those things.
We all radiate that. We are all examples of that. So I just tell people, look around you and what's helping you be your best self. Where do you feel that love, that truth, that joy? And it can be hard to filter through because it's confusing, but you'll ultimately know the moment you tap into that inner self.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah. It feels like it's in the flow. It feels good. It feels expansive. That's the feeling I get. It's this expansive versus constricting. And this tension feeling is not where we want to listen. It's in the expansive flow state that is really what's going to lead us to health and wealth and happiness. All of it.
Yes. All of that.
Oh, community is up. I just got a message from my husband over there. Good.
You want to show it to him?
Sure. Let me see if I can show it really quick.
She's in there too, right?
Let me just bring it up here and see if I can get in. Hey, it's back.
Yay.
Okay, so this is our community group. Are we seeing it? Let's see. Yeah, I need help over there. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so if you want to look around our community group, this is the welcome page. But we have a lot of stuff going on. These are all of our members. I think we have around 400 members over here now.
Growing.
Yeah, it keeps on growing every day. And
about 3 months.
We've been out since November 1st is when we started it. We're filling it with education, with research, with just helping people find what they are looking for, basically. I know that the Facebook group can kind of get overwhelming when you make a post and then you get about, 200 comments on what you should do. So you can come over here and you can contact any of the, practitioners. You can check out what's going on with what they're doing. Dr. Debbie is here. She's one of our group experts. Michael Epstone, Lizzie, and of course, Haley is here as well. Here she is. So you can just even join this. It's a free sister community. You can come over, you can chat with Haley here and talk to her about more information about her health codes. There's also breakout circles with all these different subjects that we're starting. So I won't go into too much detail because I don't want this to go on much longer, but you can go check those out. Those are just getting started. This is kind of a new thing that we're starting, just a little bit of offshoots. That's why they're called breakout circles. So they're not specifically, although activate your tune, that's pretty much activating your own personal frequency and learning how to channel that and let that come through for your own healing. And then we have this frequency library, which is really helpful. We've got, science videos that it's explaining the science behind frequency therapy, gifts from practitioners, which we have opened up for practitioners to share some of their just little tidbits of what they're doing can be found here. We've got frequency lists. So if you are wondering about what specific frequency for what, you can find that here in our extensive frequency library. And then, of course, we post all of these interviews and lives that we do here in the Facebook group in our library here. So you can also come and find the archives of that, which there's not a whole lot yet. We've just started this whole thing, but it is, it's getting there. So we're going to wrap this up. I am so grateful you all have joined us. And let's see, there we go. And thank you. Please reach out to Haley if you have any questions or me. And we will see you next Tuesday. I will be coming on live again to do more of a practice-based frequency live, which is also leans a little bit more on the spiritual base of things. And then Thursdays are usually more interviews like this, talking about different modalities and interviewing different practitioners. So we always go live at noon Central Standard Time. And I'll see you all next time. And see you, Haley. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.